What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Alex here from AlexCFE, and today we have a very interesting deck profile, something that I have been working on for quite a bit with my buddy Tommy, aka Schneezferno, on Twitter if you've seen him. This is going to actually be a Eugene Yasuri deck. So we've seen in the past a bunch of Eugene decks that really have utilized Eugene basically in Kagero, but this over here with Murakumo, I honestly think it does have a really good shot and does what it wants to do very, very consistently. Has a couple weaknesses, sure. It might not be the absolute meta stomper tier 1A deck that you want to bring to BCS and whatnot, but honestly, I think this is a really solid road deck that can catch a lot of people off guard, and if you can pull off the strategy, which is pretty easy to do, I think you have a good shot against a lot of different decks. So without further ado, let's hop right into the video with a quick message first. And just really quickly before we begin, I wanted to mention that if you are interested in purchasing any of the cards that you see here today, we do have a TCG Player affiliate link down in the description below, absolutely no cost to you. You could help support the channel by shopping through that. Thank you in advance, definitely do appreciate that. I'll never ask you guys for money or anything like that, or paid subscription, so that definitely helps me out a whole lot if you do use that link. Also, if you are enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like on the video, possibly consider subscribing to the channel. That is another great way to help me out. I know the algorithm probably hates me, just don't upload as much as I used to. I'm very busy with work, things of that nature and whatnot, so that does help me a lot. And lastly, shouts out to My Metal Cards for sponsoring this video over here. They basically sent me a bunch of these over here. I also have a short coming out on the channel where I demo just a bunch of these different ones that they sent me. I've given them out at tournaments locally and whatnot, but they sent me this custom one, and honestly, these are super high quality products. They are really, really nice to hold, to see on the field. I just love that we don't have, like field centers, things of that nature in this game, so having these on the field is a great way to express, a little bit of yourself and whatnot, and just bring a little bit of variety to our game that we love. So without further ado now, let's for real hop into the deck profile, kicking us right off. Of course, 4 copies of the boss unit himself. I'm just going to separate that over here in case I want to read anything, but this is, the SP version, but 4 copies of him. You just need to do this to get him as your first ride pretty much every single time. Doesn't matter if you go first or second, you pretty much always want to go into this right here. This over here will allow us to then do the pseudo stride. After history collection, the updated erratas, you basically go into the train and create 2 of the Excel markers. The train is a very big part of this deck, and I will explain this a little bit later on, just a little bit more, but for now, the on stride thing basically is counterblast 1, choose one of your rear guards, search your deck for up to 2 cards with the same card name as that guy, call them to rear guard circle, shuffle your deck, end of the turn, put those cards in the bottom of your deck in any order. That last part doesn't really matter too much, but overall this basically just goes and searches for something. So if you know that your opponent doesn't really have disruption, you want to kind of preemptively put something down, you could do that early in the game. If you know that they do have it, just wait until you actually ride up into this and then go search something when strode upon, because it's technically an act. You don't have to go and stride in the regular stride step like you do for normal strides and whatnot. So it is an act in the Gzone, so you do have a little bracing with that right there. So 4 of this guy right over there, pretty much just need him for the ride up turn. Now, of course, the Mr. Interesting himself, we are running 3 of Eugene. 3 because we are drawing a whole lot in this deck. This deck has an incredible resource engine. Even the plain vanilla version of it really has a good resource engine, but in general, I feel like this kind of just pushes it a little bit further. You don't really do anything with Eugene outside of the name, so I'm not going to go over the skills. You don't really want to ride him just going first and whatnot. If you do end up having 2 Eugene turns and make use of the Persona ride turn, I feel like it's almost like a game over kind of situation. So I think that is pretty cool that you do have Persona in this deck, but really you're just using it for the name. So 3 of those because we will probably find it one way or another. This is a proxy for the Angel Bracing Ladder over here. I'll just flash it on the screen, of course, but this is great to just protect your rear guards. You don't want them picked off at certain points, especially when you're going to search, named units, search a copy of this name, like we just saw the on-stride ability. That is something that does come up, so there's tons of interactability in Premium right now, especially in this format, so we don't want that. Angel Bracing Ladder helps us draw, get soul, and protect our units, so yeah. 1 copy of that right there. And like I mentioned, we are using the ride fixer right here. So this actually has multiple different interactions, but first and foremost, the fact that you can go and search out your grade 1s. There are necessary grade 1s that we need, there are grade 2s that we need, and this really just helps us kind of patch a bunch of problems that this deck would have had otherwise. Without this card, I don't think this is really possible. This deck also helps us kind of replace a unit that might already, you think you're done with it. There is a grade 1 I'll go over in a little bit, but this card can basically go and search for another copy of it. Once your Vanguard restands, enables another Vanguard restand off of that Eugene name, and it's just a really nice waterfall kind of effect and just flows throughout the game. I feel like this fits in perfectly, so 4 copies of this absolutely necessary in this deck. And then 4 copies of the GOAT right here. I feel like this is almost the reason you play this deck in general, Fright Sickle. So Fright Sickle's skill, when this unit attacks, you may have this unit get 5k until the end of battle. If you do at the end of the battle, put this unit to the bottom of your deck, and if this unit was placed by a card's ability this turn, you get to draw a card. So Essentially, we are looking to spam this card over and over through our stride, which we'll go over in just a moment. Also, just various abilities that call things out. Just go boom, pop it down, draw a card, pop it down, draw a card. There is multiple ways to recycle this. It recycles itself right back into deck. It just feels so good. This is a great card. This is really one of the best cards Murakumo has in the modern game right now, and I think we really need to abuse it to take advantage and really make Murakumo do anything right now. So yeah, 4 copies of that, absolutely necessary once again. And you might be thinking to yourself, all right, like Eugene, you know what's coming with the grade 1. How are we getting rid of units on field? Well, there's 2 cards here. 4 of our buddy Dustin right here. Dustin is a cycler, so you take a card from hand, put it into soul. You can then draw a card, pop one of your opponent's grade 2 or greater rear guards. Also, when this guy does attack, you can Soul Blast 1, gets 2k for till the end of the battle for each of your opponent's open rearguard circles. So addressing some of the power issue that we might have in this deck, especially if they have, you know, an Excel field that is wiped at that point. Very easy to kind of go and get rid of that. So definitely need this in the deck. 4 of is quite a bit. You can play around with the ratios for this one over here, but I'm also including 3 of this guy, and this guy is great for a couple different reasons. So Meteor Flare Dragon, if you play standard, you're probably familiar with this card, but when this unit is placed on rearguard circle until the end of turn, all your opponent's rearguards lose all their continuous abilities, cannot gain them. Then you can CB1, choose one of your opponent's rearguards in the same column as this unit and retire it. So a retire, as well as shutting off any of those pesky resist kind of continuous effects, things of that nature, that it just turns it off. So this supersedes those. This helps you get around anything that might stick on field that is extra sticky. Your opponent might think, oh, he's playing Eugene. Not that they should really know, but if they know that you are, you know, they could put something down that kind of does that. Boom, this kind of gets rid of it. So, of course, this doesn't work on Angel Bracing Ladder, so if they use that, you know, a little bit difficult, but just kind of go into a more vanilla kind of game plan. But 3 of this copy right here of that card really, really does help out. The next card here in the grade 1 lineup, pretty much going to start off with the main guy. This is going to be 3 copies of Oswald. So if you've seen the Kagro list, things of that nature for Eugene, you know that Oswald is very important for this. This basically allows us to restand Eugene, because at the end of the battle, this unit boosted a Vanguard with Eugene in its card name. Your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, and you have no rear guards, or they have no rear guards. CB1, discard a card from your hand, and then choose one of your Vanguards. Restand it, increase or decrease the crit and drive to 1 until the end of turn. So basically, you do this when your Eugene has train over it. Train on hit automatically hits. Go search out 2 units. Go search out 2 more Fighticles. Go, you know, just draw off of that. You're continuously pretty much drawing. And we are running a bunch of stand triggers in this too. So when your Eugene stands, it might actually hit a stand trigger for this guy over here. And also what I kind of was mentioning before, let's say you don't hit a stand trigger, you know, that guy's just done. You've only done like 1 restand or whatever it is through your Vanguard. You can go swing with the boosted version of this right here. And then CB1, go find, if you have enough Counterblast for it, it is a Counterblast heavy play, but we're running resource cards in here in just a second. I'll show you to kind of deal with that, but you can go search out another copy of the Oswald and then boost your Vanguard again, swing again with your Vanguard, and just kind of keep that cycle up for a little bit. And, you know, hopefully you hit a stand trigger. You can do it, you know, attacking 4 times with a, the train, and just getting a bunch of Fighticles down. Like, if you're not under Hanali, it just feels absolutely insane. So very, very powerful stuff right there. This really is one of the main engines or main cards that do make the deck itself work. So definitely need that, at least at a 3 of. Again, we kind of use that on our second turn, so we draw a whole lot. So hopefully we'll see it by our second turn in general. All right, over here, second grade 3 turn. Over here next up for the grade 1s, I really wanted to fit a bunch of stand triggers into the trigger lineup. So with that being said, I just took out the draws that we normally run, and I put these in over here. They also help you with countercharging, which you'll see, you know, if your opponent is running Hanali, it feels kind of bad, but at the same time, you know, not a ton of decks are, like some decks have like super access to it, you know, going up against Katrina, Grand Blue, things like that. Like, sure, they can access anything in their deck at any time, but, you know, for a lot of the other fields, they don't really run it as much. It's not as impactful, but over here, this still just helps us countercharge, something that we want to do. Yeah, just keeping it kind of in theme right there. Lastly, for our normal units in the main deck over here, we are going to be running 3 copies of Gateway Stealth Rogue Ataka. So this is a top 5 searcher for a grade 3. I was on the fence about running the grade 3 searcher. What was it? The one that's basically the G version of this that goes and searches the Yasui, but overall I feel like this is good enough. There's been times where I really need Eugene and this guy pops down, or I find like a Heal Guardian. I just feel like you get a little bit more utility out of this, plus this is a 10k shield, so I do kind of like this in general. So yeah, 3 copies of this one right here. And then lastly, for the main deck, we are going to be running 1 of our starters. Let's pause here and go right into the triggers. So for the triggers now over here, this is a proxy. This is pretty much, I've been trying different different Nova triggers in general. I think that the Dragon Empire one's a little more risky, but the reward is super high. You can go with the blue OT if you wanted to, but the thing is, when you restand, it kind of takes your Vanguard and minuses the crit down. So overall, I think this could either be the Dragon Empire OT or the red OT. The yellow, or like the new gold one, white one, whatever you want to call it, like that one is good too for drawing a whole lot, but we're drawing a ton already in this deck, so I don't know. I think that this potentially is going to be either the red elemental OT or the Dragon Empire OT in general. Next up here too for heals, running four of the grade 3 heal guardians. You want to mitigate damage early, you want to make it to the late game in here. This helps us do it. This also is a grade 3 if you need to pitch for stride fodder. Just generally, there's no reason not to use it in this deck at least. And like I said, we are running some stands. I'm running 2 of the counter charger stands. I'm running 4 of this guy over here. This one is just so good. I do want to mention that this guy's skill, Self Dragon, Hidden Scroll. So put this unit into your deck. When this unit is placed on rearguard, you may pay the cost if it's GB1. If you do, choose one of your rearguards not named Self Dragon Hidden Scroll itself. Search for your deck for up to 2 cards of the same card as that name. Call in separate rearguard circle, shuffle your deck. At the end of the turn, put those unit with the called effects into the bottom of your deck in any order. So again, go get those fright sickles, pop them down early, spam some draws early, go search again, off the Vanguard, go search again off of other cards. It's just kind of keeping up in theme. Plus it's a stand that helps us with the Oswald over there too. So next up for crits, we are running 4 of the draw crit, and we are also running 1 of the stride crit. I just think this is probably the best lineup. I was going like more stands at a certain point, but like you don't have enough hit pressure, especially if you're trying to play through Hanali. If you don't have crits in the deck, your opponent has to fear your Vanguard attack at a certain point, and if they know you're running a ton of stands, like they don't really care as much, especially if the stands are 5k. It just kind of feels bad. So I feel like with the added utility of drawing off those crits, as well as just a little, the stride effect crit over here, plus their 10k, like it just feels a whole lot better in general. So yeah, that is the main deck right here. Let's hop into the Gzone. Getting into the Gzone itself now, we are running 4 copies of Train. So Train itself has to be run at max copies. This is, again, you go into this first, you go into the second, you go into this third pretty much. Like there's very rare times where you don't go into this. I think this is just a great card overall. When this unit attack hits, it's always going to hit now because of that added text with the history collection. But this over here, let's just read this off. This unit attack hits a Vanguard. Choose one of your rearguards. Search your deck for up to 2 cards with the same card name as that unit. Call into rearguard circle and shuffle your deck. At the end of turn, put this unit called by this effect into the bottom deck in any order. Again, spam your fright cycles. Go get your draw. Go get that resource engine. Survive any turn coming up. Like it's really, really good. It just feels super nice. Next up here, 2 of the Yasui Genma. Genmas now, I said that you kind of go into the train all the time. It's not always true. If you have the ability to go into Genma, swinging and then restanding and then giving your whole board an additional 5k plus a crit is really, really good if you are GB3. So with Genma over here, you Soul Blast 1, choose a face down card with the same card name as is from your Gzone, choose a card from your rear or drop zone, search your deck for up to 1 card with the same card name as that deck, call it to rear, shuffle your deck, and in turn, return that unit to your hand. This also has a Shadow Stitch ability, so when something doesn't hit, GB3, at the end of battle, this unit attacked a Vanguard. If that attack did not hit, choose up to 5 of your units. They get 5k plus an extra crit until the end of turn. So do that twice, don't hit twice. Guess what? Boom. My board is now 10k plus double crit. Everything is swinging for lethal. It's just absolutely insane on like Eugene. So if you get that off, again, super, super nice. Lastly, over here, just a couple last ones. These are kind of tech choices. Ambush Demon Stealth Rogue, Ishu, how do you say this? Izushitome or something like that, but basically allowing your whole board to kind of go search for something, go recycle stuff back in deck. Again, don't really go into it too much. This is going to be a proxy for the Messiah. I have like 10 copies of Messiah. I just don't like to actually put them in my decks unless I'm like competing, so they just, this was just a proxy right there. 1 copy of this guy over here, just because I like the fact that you can, if you're under Hanali, at least something is going to do a drive check. But this guy over here, second skill, basically what you can do once per turn, if you are GB2, you act Counter Blast 1, Soul Blast 2, choose a card from your hand, discard it, choose a card from your drop zone, return to your deck, choose one of your units, search your deck for up to 1 unit with the same card name as that unit, call it to rearguard circle, shuffle your deck, and at the end of turn, this unit called the effect gets, this unit performs a drive check only for its first battle during its turn, and at the end of the turn, put the bottom deck and put it to the bottom deck. So yeah, again, just being able to kind of get some pressure through that. 2 of the Victor, if you do flip these up, Soul Blast, called Rearguard Circle, it's just good to kind of poke. Don't really want to use it for its Vanguard skill, not a big deal. For the G Guards, we are running 2 of the G Flippers and 2 of the new ones over here. The G Flipper basically allows you to put cards back to the bottom of your deck, so as you may have noticed, we are drawing a ton in this deck. We are drawing a whole lot of cards, and you need to get them back on the bottom. Why not put triggers back? Why not put things that'll make you even more lethal, just help you kind of in the later game, just really good for that. But overall, the G Guards in Murakumo aren't super super great. The second guy over here, when this guy is put on Guardian Circle, choose one of your rear guards, gets auto at the end of battle your opponent's unit attacked. If that attack did not hit, Soul Blast 1 may return this unit to your hand until the end of turn. This unit gets an extra 10k until the end of battle for each of your units with the same card name as that chosen unit. Again, not really like super great, but in general, probably one of the better G guards that we do have in this over here. So that is pretty much the deck. I know it seems a little silly, but definitely try it out. Let me know what you guys think. Like, if you have these cards laying around, you might as well try it. I think this is probably one of the best versions of Murakumo. I think the vanilla might be okay as well, but like, you know, I got kind of bored of that. It's not really getting results, things of that nature. This is a really fun way to play this deck. Very surprising. And if you guys are meme lords like me, I try to do that kind of content and whatnot. This is a great deck overall. So thank you so much. Again, shout out to Tommy Schneesferno for helping me with this deck and kind of creating a lot of it. Also, if you guys are interested in purchasing any of the cards that you see here today, we do have that TCG player link. That would be a super help to me. Thank you so much in advance for using that. Thank you guys. This is Alex from Alex CFV signing out.